right, the video is on.
Oh, yeah, there's video on? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
you
All
can,
right.
you can wave.
Awesome.
It's working. I've had some problems with it, but it's working.
Awesome. You got it all work, man. You're the man. He's the producer.
Say what?
He's the producer extraordinaire.
Ah.
It's the right song, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I had to find the right spot where to, you know. And when you give me a kind of clue when you're going to talk about Eminem.
Okay.
Six seconds.
Welcome to the first episode of The Man Show with your host, Mike Guzman. I am Mike Guzman, and we'll be talking about a various array of topics dealing with men and men's issues and sports and various things. And you can also call into the show and give us your feedback, give us your any questions, any problems, anything you want us to answer. We're here for you.
Move your phone off the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
And we're here for you to
put it on your lap or something.
Okay.
Or you
Far
maybe
away.
it's your phone. Just it interferes with the microphone.
Okay.
There we go.
All right,
Okay.
So, what topic are we discussing today? I think I mentioned a few things to you, Peter. What are we hitting on first?
Well, I know. Well, I don't know. You told me who your guest was going to be.
Guest, yeah. So my guest
I'm
here,
sorry. Hi,
Julie,
Mike. How are
Julie,
you?
Julie Dalton.
Yes, that is.
That's your name,
The
right?
woman, the woman of
Yeah.
Facebook.
Right. So.
Yeah, I heard you're a big follower of us, or a very active follower of us.
Of hers? Am I?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Huh?
Maybe
a little
I'm
bit.
sure everybody watches
A little bit.
posts and questions.
Right.
How's she thinking
Well,
today?
Well, yeah, she and I are we're two opposing views because she posts. She's almost like your friend that has a show here, Chardin. She has the very conservative views. I don't know these ladies. You guys have it's very funny. A lot of these ladies.
Well,
have
maybe
really
they're like being
conservative
roped. I don't know.
views. I don't know. Yeah. We were talking about Harvey Weinstein, and I spoke about him on an episode of TMZ Live, and we're talking about the movie Joy and how he came to Jennifer Lawrence's aid, and how the director kicked him off set, and he's a big deal in Hollywood, and a lot of people are going against him, and I really think especially like the feminists, they're going against Harvey Weinstein, but I mean, he did in fact give a lot of these ladies big, powerful positions in Hollywood.
For their money?
What?
A run for their money?
He gave them million. I mean, I bet you if he went to you work with scores in strip clubs. If a guy like Harvey Weinstein came into your club and said, "I'm going to give one of the girls that works there a multi-million-dollar job and going to make them stars in Hollywood," I'm sure they would probably jump at that and say, "Hell yeah, I'm taking it."
Can you say that he showered them with money?
Right, and how many guys out there do that? A lot here, especially here in South Florida. So is it really that bad of a thing what he did? And the other thing is that no woman is going to come out and say, "Oh, thank you, Harvey Weinstein. She blew him and got won an Oscar in Hollywood." No woman's going to say that they were okay with it. They're all they're like a slut.
He's got 40 women coming up talking about.
Right, but he's probably helped more than that. And some of the women that he's helped probably aren't going to come out and say he's a great guy, because then they would look like sluts. I mean, you saw the girl from Blossom. She posted, something about him, and then they were going against her. So is that one of our comments?
Keep talking.
Okay, because I told some people to call into the show. So if it is, you can put them on. So what do you think? Do you think that was a bad thing what he did with the
That's
show?
not how you get
Okay, what's your first name?
women's attention is by groping.
You got a call in?
Yeah, you
Awesome.
got a caller. Yes,
Who's
you
it?
do.
Awesome. Our very
And
first.
this is John calling in.
John.
Hello, John.
Hello,
Hey, John. How's it going?
Hey, Mike, how's it going? How's it going, guys?
Good. So, what do you think about Harvey Weinstein? What do you think about what he did with the girls in Hollywood? Are you?
What do I think about her? I was actually just talking about that. I think
Everybody's
Rose,
talking about it.
Rose McGowan's a little disturbed right now on her Twitter feed, and maybe rightfully so, especially if she's claiming she was, raped.
Right.
But
Rose McGowan.
we guys, even on a smaller level of filmmaking, just are a little too extra with some of the girls. I've been on sets where
Right.
their focus gets taken off of the film and just on the females themselves. So, and a guy as powerful as Harvey Weinstein, I think that they feel like they have that power and they can twist it any way they want. I mean, we've all kind of desired every hot actress, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I've been in that situation myself.
Here's a guy who's really just a schlub, because the guy I don't think is not handsome, and he's never really probably could never pull that kind of girl. But
Right.
in his dreams, he thinks
There's other things he could
he
pull.
thinks now that
Right.
he's got the power that he can try to do so.
But the wife he's married to now is hotter than hot. I mean, now she's
Yeah,
divorcing
but
him
you know
because of
what?
all this allegations
But
about the sexual abuse.
You know what? For decades and
Up and coming.
decades and decades, the man with the money and the power
Of course, it
feels
doesn't
like
matter what he
He's
looks like.
entitled to get the
he's
women. You know.
entitled to get whatever he wants.
I mean, in a capitalist society like we live in, that's part of. I think that's kind of part of the game. That's part of the reason why a lot of guys are out there hustling and doing what they got to do to make a buck, is so that they can enjoy it.
All right, so
Have the
I
best.
asked the question.
Exactly. I mean, we've all seen hot young girls going
Right.
on with old sugar daddies.
Right, exactly.
You're on Fort Lauderdale Beach. You go down there. Every boat has someone who looks like it should be their daughter, but isn't.
Right.
Right.
I think that's whole Florida.
Yeah. A lot of Florida, you see that.
All right,
Especially
so
Palm
I've
Beach.
asked this to a few different women, and just out of curiosity, so Julie and you guys, okay, so Harvey Weinstein allegedly, well, he's admitted to the watch me shower and all that.
Right.
He's denying the rape and everything, but
Let's talk about what Rose McGowan is considering a rape. I mean, what is rape? I mean, it isn't just
Can't rape the willing.
we're all thinking of it in that.
yeah, but my question is,
Would I?
no. Notoriously, people in the arts, they have some insecurities.
Right.
So actresses, maybe some low self-esteem or whatever insecurity it is. So if you're an actress and you had dealings with Harvey Weinstein and he didn't hit on you, would you say, what's wrong with me? Why didn't he want to have sex with me? What's the problem with me? They'll think there's something wrong with them, right?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I guess that's another aspect of it.
Yeah.
I guess
Now, is that a question
but-
that
but-
would I be upset if I wasn't hit on by him, or would I be
Well,
like,
there you go.
Yeah,
"Phew,
would
I'm
you be
in the
upset?
clear, like,
He's
I
hitting
got
on
a
all
couple
these
million,
hot
I'm
babes.
good.
He's hitting on all these hot babes, and he didn't hit on
No,
you.
I'd be
What's
like,
wrong with
thank
you?
God I didn't have the creep hitting on me.
Really?
You know?
You think
Yeah, if I was already up and coming and I was a celebrity and I didn't have to deal with it, like, kind of maybe, but like, thank God. I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have to sleep at night.
Let's put it another way, right? Let's say a guy isn't a celebrity. I mean, isn't a rich and powerful guy that's hitting on you, and he isn't a good-looking guy, and he's not even trying to be a creep. I've had situations where women say, "How dare that guy even talk to me? He's not at my level." So turn it around back on just a regular guy. How would you do in that situation? If a guy who you would deem as beneath your level, how would you act?
Yeah.
I mean,
Julie, how would you
I
act?
blush. I still deal with it, even though I work
Right.
for Scores Now, massaging. I probably don't get hit on like I used to if I was taking my clothes off. But to me, when I was, it would go in one ear out the other over the head, and
Yeah.
it just gets a little weird
Well,
or awkward
yeah,
after a while.
I think you bring up a good point, because that's the thing that a lot of guys face that's tough, is that there's unrequited love, and there's always a case where the guy may like the girl and the girl may not be interested, and then the guys have to worry. Peter doesn't have to worry about this because he's out of the game of being single. But like a lot of guys, if you go for a girl and she doesn't like you, you got to worry. Then will she consider it sexual harassment? Like if it's in the workplace or something,
That's a big
you got to worry about it, because if she likes you, then usually it's consensual then. But if she doesn't like you, then you got to worry. Well, I want to. They say for a man, they're supposed to be the hunters. We're supposed to go out there and show our interest in the girls. But then if we show our interest in the girls, nowadays with the things being so feminized, we also have to worry about, well, if she doesn't like me, is she going to call me a creep? Is she going to say, you know, these negative
the
things
bad
about
thing,
me?
I've got a lot of
You know?
friends who are current, you know, sheriff, cop, law enforcement,
Yeah.
and I know a bunch of guys that are, you know, former.
Right.
And they said, you know what, the women, basically, they could, with just one line, they could ruin you.
Yeah.
All they have to do is say, he raped me,
Right.
or he tried to rape me.
Sexually assaulted me.
There doesn't have to be any proof or anything. At
Because,
that point, that law enforcement person has to come and arrest you.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And you know what? You go and get it proven that you're not. You're free. You know, it turns out it was fabricated. You still have that stigma. People,
Especially if
No,
you're in the public eye, too.
yeah,
If you're in
well,
the public
especially
eye,
if
it's
you're in the
bad.
public
Yeah.
eye. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as big as a news story if you've been exonerated.
Right, but people don't remember that. They remember that you were
They remember
arrested.
bad.
You were accused,
They
right.
never remember the good. They always remember the bad.
Well, did you have it when you were working,
What being?
harassed and everything?
No, I think I did all the harassing.
Yeah.
No, I don't know how I did that job for so many years.
Well, let me ask you this.
But
Mike brought up a really good point. What do you think of the nice guy? The nice guy that just doesn't.
Would
Do you even go out with a nice guy? If he's a nice guy, he might even be handsome or at your level.
well,
But
there's a point of
if he's
being
not making the moves,
there's a
would he
point
be
of
interesting to you?
there's a point of being nice and then overly nice. Obviously, over nice, you want there's something intentive. You know, you want something more than I can involve myself in. So really, I kind of step back and look at the whole situation before I get involved. If he's being nice, what does he want? You know, those are all questions that do come.
No, but
across.
I'm talking about maybe a guy that you're already attracted to. Maybe you're also on a date already, but he's not making any of the moves because he's trying to be polite. You know, I have friends who tell me that they get bored with guys like that. You know, and then they just move on because he's being too nice.
Too nice, right? And that's normal for a lot
Well,
of women. They
a lot
kinda
of girls
like
do,
that,
would
but
you make if you went out on a date and there was an attraction there and the guy's like moving too slow? Would you take the initiative?
probably not.
Probably not. Really?
I'm
I don't see it.
I kind of stand. I'm very picky. Like it's hard. Like I don't like the overly nice guy, and I don't like the bad boy because I don't get in trouble. But
Yeah, but most women subconsciously like the bad boy.
yeah,
Yeah,
always.
yeah,
I like the guy with
yeah.
the tattoo is a little
Yeah,
roughed
it's
up.
yeah.
I don't even think it's subconsciously. I just think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I remember when I was single, and I wasn't shy, but you know what? If I missed a signal or something, I always liked if the woman would, you know, say, "Hey, come here." I had no problem with it.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say I'm a good guy or a bad guy, but if I'm into a girl and I'm a total jerk to her, that somehow works better in my favor than being nice to her.
Sure. And I can
Right,
remember
yeah.
growing up and being picked on. I'm like, why'd you pick on me? And I didn't think you liked me. He was like, no, that's flirting. I'm like, that's, you know, you body slamming me on a trampoline, that's flirting back then? Okay.
Wow.
Missed that one.
Bad.
I'm waiting for one of the overtly gay actors out there to say, "I don't know. I would have watched them shower." You know?
God.
Maybe Andy
I don't
Dick will
think-
say
I don't
that or
think
something like that.
Or
Maybe.
put soap roll down his butt crack.
I don't know.
No.
Otherwise, yeah. It's,
Anyways,
so your Yankees are playing.
yeah.
I don't know if they're going to win the series. If they win the
I
series,
don't
I'll
know,
root
but
for
I
them to
called
win the whole
last night's
thing.
game. I called it. I said, first night back at Yankee Stadium. You know, well, you know, both teams are going to break out offensively at some point.
Right.
It can't continue. The whole series can't be at 2-1 or 1-0.
Judge had 3 RBIs the other day. So
Well,
he's-
yeah, he had a 3-run homer.
Yeah.
Would have been
So
a grand
good,
slam if
yeah.
it wasn't for the wild pitch.
So
But it started out and it was like, okay, I knew the Yankees were, you know, I said the Yankees will break out tonight.
yeah,
And they did.
yeah.
And I can't believe Sabathia. You into the baseball, John?
Not really.
Well, then hang in there for 30 seconds.
I'll just hang in there.
I can't believe
Yeah.
Sabathia, who's what, like 40 years old and probably.
Is he 40?
Well,
No,
36.
30, yeah, 30, yeah,
You know, he's
You know.
toward the
But-
the end, toward the
End of his
waning
career,
part of
right.
his career. And the guy's probably 120 pounds overweight. And,
Right, like a football player, yeah.
But the
Just
guy's
plays,
Mr.
yeah.
October when it comes to
Mr.
pitching.
Yeah, and they got Chapman too. Chapman was with the Cubs last year when they won.
Well, he went from the Yankees to the Cubs, back to the Yankees.
Yeah, so I mean, it might. I'm not a Yankee fan, as from Mass, but if they can beat the Astros, then I would root for them to win the whole thing because they're the underdog. They're the underdog. So I always root for the underdog. So, but although the Houston players, they're local guys. I mean, they're here during the spring training.
It would have been pretty interesting if it was the Houston-Washington World Series, because they both play right down the road.
Right. Well, but my friend knows. Dusty Baker gave us tickets to see one of the games this spring. Yeah, it was good.
And you didn't have to watch him shower.
No, I don't think so. No, he's a good guy. And the Houston guys, they were all very friendly. I mean, during the games, they were out there signing autographs, taking pictures.
Well, they're all young and making a name for themselves. They haven't been jaded yet.
Yeah.
You know?
But the Washington guys weren't doing that.
That's what I heard.
Washington people weren't.
That's what I heard.
So. But the Dodgers, I don't know. The Dodgers, I think, the way they've been playing, they might take it all.
Well, I'm out of the picture. I called a Chicago-Cleveland World Series again with Cleveland winning.
Oh yeah.
So I'm out of the picture because Cleveland's gone.
Yeah, I didn't care for Cleveland to go back though. I don't know. Not a Cleveland.
Yeah, I wanted them to get rid of their curse. You know.
But yeah. I know they had a good series against the Marlins. What happened?
Yeah. You got him on the line.
Oh, okay. So
unless you want me to hang up on him.
No.
Okay.
Do you watch NBA?
John?
Still there?
No, I'm actually not into
any sports. No. So are you an actor or what? Are you an actor?
Nope.
No.
I'm an actor. I'm a director.
Director?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. You see, I wore my shirt. Nobody can see it. It says
they can
my
see
life.
it if they go on the website.
You go on the website. My
TV chat.
My life, directed by Harmony Korine. I auditioned. I did a callback for the movie Beach Bum about a week ago.
Did you get the call back?
I did get the call back, and I went in.
And
I
go get him coffee.
Well, yeah, go get him coffee. and I had just 2 lines in it, but I'm hoping I get it because I really dig. When I do a movie, a lot of actors don't do this. They don't, do research on the people that they are going to go to work for. But I do. So I went and I looked at, I went on YouTube. I always go on YouTube and Google. And I looked and I saw his interview on David Letterman.
Yeah.
And when he came on there, he was very eccentric. And I'm naturally an introvert and eccentric. So, I'm drawn to, they say like is like. So, people that are crazy like other people that are crazy. Yeah. So I really dug his style, and I even posted, I think on my Facebook, I posted his scene on Gumbo where he was wrestling where Mark Gonzalez, this legendary skater, was wrestling a chair in the movie Gumbo. Yeah. And I just thought that was pretty cool. I don't know, you probably won't like it because you're more into other more serious type movies, but I like it. It was crazy.
Yeah, I just seen that movie It last night.
And how was that?
It wasn't too bad. It was 3 hours long, so we're basically watching the Titanic.
3 hours long.
Yeah, it was pretty long.
Sitting down for 3 hours. Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, there was action from obviously the time when they met Pennywise, or the little boy met Pennywise, from the time on. But yeah, I kind of dragged out for a couple more extra hours. I just
They're going to do a sequel to it too. I think it's a 2-parter, right? I think they may have already shot it, or they're going to show it, right? Peter, is that true? They're going to do it. There's a sequel to it, right? A second part to it.
Because that's the 3 hour.
I think so.
Yeah, I think there's a 2-part.
What was that, John?
Yeah, the original is the 3 hour version. The new one is only shows the kids, right? The adult. Did you see the adults facing it?
Some adults, but it was mainly on the kids. So the second one will be their adulthood.
I think so, yeah, because I heard it was 2. I heard it was 2 movies, so it was supposed to be two.
Yeah, they're making a sequel, which is the adults returning back to the town and fighting it in the as they did in the book and in the original miniseries.
Yeah, I'm not big on sequels. Terminator 1 was
great. It's technically not a sequel. It's still part of the original source material. It's just a 3 hour long original miniseries, or it's all part of the original book, so it won't be a sequel. If you think of it that way, it's not your traditional sequel. It's still part of the original source material. They only gave you half the movie.
I didn't see it yet, but I may go see it. I heard the TV movie wasn't that good, but I don't know. I mean,
the new one is good. It's just it's
Probably more
the horror.
gory,
It
yeah.
didn't need to show you as much as they needed to. I think it's a little too. It was, it's for today's audiences, so it's a little more gory than it needed to be. Whereas in the original miniseries, which was made for television, they had to scale it back some. So in this one, they go really deep into the gore.
Yeah. See, with me, I like comedies and I like action. So I don't know. So it had to be really good. But now the horror movies are like the new trend in Hollywood. I think they're the new
They're
big
back.
movies now are
Back.
kind of big now. Yeah.
There are a bunch of them out there. My wife's cousin is oh God, what's his name? Kid. Joey King, who is in a new horror movie. She's like a teenager now.
Okay.
Do you remember White House Down? The movie White House Down?
I saw. Yeah, that was good. I like
Remember
those
the
act-
girl,
I like
the
action
daughter?
like that, yeah. Okay.
Right, that was Joey King, and I forget what other movie she was in. Not Beavis.
Beavis and
Yeah,
Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead.
It's a lot of movies.
What was that?
Ramona and Beavis.
Yes.
Jimmy Cleary books.
Yeah, she was one of them
Never saw
in
that.
there, had the lead there. Yeah.
Never saw that one.
So, but she's made a couple of horror films.
Yeah. Yeah, horror. There's some. I mean, to me, I don't know horror. I don't know. I guess I just like action and comedy. Some horror movies are okay. The one movie I never got. The one horror movie I saw was that one, The Strangers.
Yeah.
Where they had the ending of it, and I think the ending they didn't unveil. They never unveiled the killers at the end of that.
Yeah.
I always wondered what
Left it
they
for
never.
the sequel.
I guess, but I don't think they ever had a sequel to it. So it was kind of a weird. Did you ever see The Strangers? That movie had a really weird ending. It was like
You make movies, John?
Yeah, I make short films. Mike's been in a few of them actually.
Oh.
Oh wait, is John Lincona? Holy
John
shit! I didn't even. You said John. I can't tell your voice on the phone, dude. It's crazy. John Lincona.
So
I forgot who it was.
As a filmmaker,
That's
do
funny.
you ever plan on shooting a film that you leave the ending open for a sequel?
Never really thought about sequels yet to any of the films I've made, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to make a series of films eventually. So I don't hate sequels. I like sequels as long as they're well done and if they add to the story. If it continues to add and not take away, and some sequels can even be simple, like take any of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. As long as you didn't kill off Freddy in the first film and gave it a believable ending, why not just continue to make them? It can continue to happen until you kill off the franchise, really. But it doesn't have to. You don't have to write yourself into a corner and then write yourself back into a ridiculous corner, like killing off Jason in a horror movie and then having to electrocute him to come back. So.
Yeah.
Sequels, like let's say the way the Marvel Universe movies are being done now, they're all sequels, but they're just another tale in that character's life.
Right.
Well, and that's a little different than quote a sequel because it's like different episodes basically. But I agree with you to a point. Halloween. I remember when Halloween came out. Great. It was one of the best horror movies I had seen in a long time.
Right.
Halloween 2, 3, H2O.
Right.
At that point, one was good. The rest of them just didn't cut it for me.
Let's not knock Halloween 2 because that was actually a really well done continuation. They didn't really kill off Michael at the end of the first film. He was still alive, and then the second film, he shows up. It's still the same night. It's not 10 years later. It's not another set of people. It's still basically it's 2 hours later.
Okay, so two is okay.
And then
Friday the 13th.
When they started doing Halloween 4, because Halloween 3 is not a Michael Myers sequel. It's they went in a different direction. It kind of upset everyone. Then when they started doing Halloween 4, it was like 10 years later, and he's been in a coma somewhere for 10 years after he caught on fire. Then he got really, ridiculous.
Have you ever done movies?
Have you done movies? No? John, I think she would be a good actress for one of your movies. She's new. You do a horror movie with her.
What'd she say? That I looked like an actress or something?
Audrey?
Yeah. Audrey, yeah.
What's her name?
Yeah, she does. Yeah. So Oh, I heard I gotta thank you. I heard you guys did a tribute to me in the movie. I wasn't even in it, called The Museum. There was a Mike Guzman museum. There was a museum named after me in there.
Yes, we
There was
named
a
it.
museum with my name on it. I was honored to that. I didn't get to see it.
The plot of the film was that this lady becomes a new junior director to a museum of not contemporary art but common art.
Mm-hmm.
So we named the museum after you, the Michael Guzman, the common artist.
I gotta see that sometime.
Just knickknacks, the kind of stuff you'd find at a gift shop, and not real art, but everybody treated it like art, like it was the greatest thing in the world. So, we called it the Michael Guzman Museum of Contemporary Art.
Yeah, see,
Right.
it's good. Yeah,
It should be available, I believe, by the weekend. So I'll share it with you, and you can share it with whoever you want.
Yeah,
You can see it.
Yeah.
But do you, being that you make films, do you attend the Fort Lauderdale Film Festival at all?
Fliff.
I've been to Fliff one time, not very often. We wanted to finish the museum for the short film competition for Fliff, but it wasn't done in time. But I definitely want to submit something maybe next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do lie because I have been in like I wouldn't even say film, but
Porn?
I didn't do the full acting of this, but
Wait a minute, John. She's got a better story than you. Right?
what is it? Porn Kings?
Reality King.
Reality Kings. I did a short one with them. I opened up for their main act. I wasn't their main act on that one. Thank God. I can't do that. But
Well,
they had me. What was it? Money Talks. It was a flashing bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I knew I was friends with the girl on
Just got my
Facebook who ran
boobs
that. Yeah.
done.
Really?
I looked like a twig with tits. The hair was short. It looked like I was 12. Just got a boob job on the beach.
That's funny.
And I remember the man started saying afterwards, you do such a good job, and they were trying to get me to do more, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
money now.
Well, the funny thing is there's some actors that they said work on the local sets that have done that, have done done like that. Yeah, because there's this Deborah, Deborah Cohen, my friend Deborah Cohen. Her friend, I think his name is Robert. He was showing me, and you couldn't recognize it was him, but he was doing these scenes as the father, where he walks in and sees his daughter. Them having, I guess they're extras. I guess they're extras that they walk in, where the father walks in and sees their daughter having sex with some
they tried getting me
porn
to play
person.
The
mother.
Somebody to play the mother role, and I'm 36. I look like I'm nearly 21. Like they carded for everything nowadays.
Well, I had neighbors, didn't know it at the time, but said, "Oh, you live near them?" And I goes, "Yeah, they're on that website, Bang My Wife Please." People three doors down.
My!
Damn.
Bang My Wife Please.
Yeah.
Those are your neighbors. You should go over there and say you need a cup of coffee. You need some sugar or coffee. Take a break.
Give me some sugar, lady.
Right. Maybe you need some milk or something. Go over there.
Anybody use your bathroom?
Yeah. But it's a crazy world. But yeah, man, John, I couldn't tell it was you, man. Your voice sounds different over the phone. You have like a radio voice. That's why I couldn't tell it's him. Yeah, you have like a radio voice. Changed.
Face for radio?
But no, he doesn't play for radio.
No, I said a face for radio.
I don't know. But we what's funny? I went and saw POD, and now that you're on the phone, I went and saw POD, and what was the other group? Alien Ant Farm. And there was a girl, I forgot her name. I think her name was Therese or something. She said she worked with you on the last 3 of your movies. And she was there at your festival. I don't know her name. She's a black girl.
Oh, I know her. You got to meet her? That's funny.
She came up to me. She came up to me like I was a celebrity at first. I was shocked. She came up and shook hands with me, and I was like, "You're Mike Guzman, aren't you?"
Awesome. Her name's Patty. She's worked on the last 2 or 3 films. She's working on another film. She works behind the scenes.
Oh yeah. And she's like, I went to John's. I had to work because I went to Montreal, so I was working a lot up until that time. That's why I didn't even deal with the 48-hour film festival this year at all. And she's like, I went to John's. He did you did a festival with all your movies, And she says, I said, the best one was the dusty finish. That was what she told me. That's why I was like, oh, really? I was like, that's funny. She said she liked that one the best. It was fun.
Everybody was laughing on that one, man.
She said,
Everybody loved your performance in that. So.
Well, it was funny. It was a little autobiographical, so it was kind of
Okay,
funny.
I was gonna ask, was that a porn?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, because that just sounded.
No, nobody wants to see me with my clothes off.
Yeah,
Nobody
you
wants to see
weren't
me with my
real
clothes
well,
off. No,
Find out.
no, no. I would be an eyesore with my clothes off. I don't think anybody wants to see that. No film.
That's what editing's for.
So,
Photoshop.
They need Photoshop, major editing, major Photoshop, major everything.
Right, get the right. You get a good cinematographer. He's got the right angle.
Has to be very far distant.
Yes,
1,000-mile away shot.
Don't shoot my backside.
But yeah, man, it's crazy. So are you working on any other film festivals or what? You got anything? Are you gonna enter in anything else or what? Have you been taking time
We're
off?
actually
Or?
working on a film called Viral, and it's not technically a zombie film because everybody's tired of those, but it's it's what if like an app or a phone turns you into some sort of digital zombie, where you know how we see everybody with their phones, they just have their face down on their phone all day,
Right.
and it's really a play on that because you know the original Dawn of the Dead was to play on us. Zombies were a metaphor for consumerism. That's why they were at a mall, and that's why they were just kind of meandering through the mall as we do when we go to the mall. So this is kind of that, but the way we're dealing with cell phones now and how they're controlling us in a sense, telling us where to go, telling us where to be, and so now we have an app that actually does do that and is causing zombies in one test neighborhood, and it's called Viral, but we may be changing it to Followers because it makes a little bit more sense because it's about social media too, and how we just follow people around on social media and just do what they say and go to their houses. So there's a lot of that going on in there. We're in the middle of just location scouting and trying to get the right people for it.
I would be great for one of those
The
roles.
last thing we were going to do, we may do it first person, but we're not sure yet.
I have kyphosis in the neck from walking around watching my phone.
Yeah. It was me the other day. I left. I didn't have my phone. I left it. I didn't have my phone for like 10 hours, and I was like crazy. Yeah, it's like my phone. Having my phone is like my hand almost. If I don't leave the house with my phone, it's like crazy.
You turn around.
Yeah.
And like a buzzing in your leg, and you feel like it's an alert, but it's not even your phone going off, or you have your phone in another pocket because you're so used to.
Yeah, it's
I've got phantom buzzing. That happens to me, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah, that sounds like that could be definitely a good horror film. You know, you could have it like that. That would be
A lot of bad things could happen.
Film festival in October, but
yeah.
Wait till the summer to finish. Submit it in the summer.
Yeah. You already did it? You already shot it?
No, we're like I said, we're location scouting now. We're looking for the right spot to shoot it at. We're looking for a 2-story location, kind of to give it that whole Dawn of the Dead look, where you're on a second story instead of just being flat. Most of the houses here are flat that I know everyone having. So.
You should come to West Palm Beach. I think this is a good area to shoot. You guys never shoot in West Palm Beach. You guys should shoot in West Palm Beach.
You gotta find someone with a 2-story house.
Peter, you got a 2-story house? You know anyone with a 2-story house?
I know people with a 2-story house.
Okay.
I don't have one.
Even if they don't, we can stand on the roof.
Yeah.
I don't do steps.
Yeah. Oh, really? No.
Nah. I played baseball through college.
Yeah.
And I was a catcher.
So
my knees
crouch,
are like I'm not no steps.
Yeah.
We'll get you an elevator.
Elevator.
Exactly.
Get a crane in there.
Yeah. So did you have something going on with Trump and Eminem?
Oh, Trump and Eminem. Yeah. We were talking about Trump and Eminem. I totally forgot about that. There, you just reminded me. Yeah. What do you? She's against this Eminem. She doesn't like him. But I don't know. Did you?
It's not that I don't like him. I feel like he's hiding. He's hid for so long, and now that there's all this animosity about Trump, that he's got to make his mark right now and be memorized, because I think everybody's just moved on. So his angle is bashing, a president, which to me, it's disrespectful. Give the guy a break. I believe, I think we all need a chance. Nobody's giving him a chance. So
I think we've given him enough chances.
Yeah.
I don't
He's
see
not
anything
gonna
he's
back
done
giving
wrong.
Trump a chance?
I
Trump?
think people are
Yeah.
not looking at him for what he's done.
Well, what has he done?
Yeah.
What
What has
has
he
he
done?
I'm willing to listen. This isn't, I
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
turn this into a controversy. I'm willing to
No,
listen.
he's donated
Oh,
a million
no.
of his own money. He's gone and helped out plenty of
Well,
people. in
check
Puerto
that
Rico.
out. He pledged to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last report was it's
He
never
hasn't?
done. He hasn't.
Okay.
He pledged what? I'm sorry, he pledged what?
Pledged to donate a million of his money, but I guess he hasn't. So
Where?
I think that was down in
Was that back
Right.
with Houston
yeah,
or
Houston, Texas.
Yeah, 'cause I think
or
we went
even
to
flooding.
before that?
No, it was then.
You know, our company just went to Puerto Rico, and you know,
Mhm.
Eric, Mike, our sound guy, he
Yeah,
went to
yeah.
Puerto Rico, and it's not a really good place right now to be. He was there helping out recovery for our employer,
Right.
because they still don't have power, they still don't have network cell phone service. So
Yeah,
and we're a
terrible.
media company, so we need to get that stuff up and running. So we
Yeah.
had Eric down there to give a hand, and it's just not a
Awesome.
good place to be. And him to go down there, and Trump to go down there and say everything is okay. That's just, it's not just that being a bad president. That's being
He's a
dangerous.
liar, is what it is.
I don't remember him saying everything was okay. I think he's,
Well, he also said that he said, what did he say something about that we gave them enough assistance or something like that?
No,
or
we're not
we
gonna
give it
help
any
him
more,
forever,
help
you
it
know.
forever. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
But you know what? In his defense, and I don't come to his defense often. Not only media, but today, people, whatever is said, there are always people from the left and the right bashing. Never take it for what it's meant. They
exactly.
take it for what they think. So if they're pro-Trump, he didn't say anything wrong. If they're anti-Trump,
Said
he's
everything.
being an asshole and a liar and uncouth.
right.
So then the first thing you should do is maybe not talk on Twitter all the time and
Well, but that's
unfiltered, right?
the whole
Yeah.
thing. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it has nothing to do with the policy he wants to pass. It has to do with the character of the man.
Right. Right.
And I knew him back in New York, where he wasn't liked.
He didn't win New York out of the
No, he
election.
didn't. No.
That to me tells you something. If you don't win the state where you're from, like if I were to run for politics, if I didn't win Florida,
Yeah.
then that to me that says that I'm not a good person.
Uh-huh.
If you're not, that your home state. If I don't win Boston, if I don't win you're not popular in your home state.
Yeah.
To me, that means that
Boston's
you're
the city.
Mass. If I didn't win Mass, I would say
Are you from Mass?
that I was born in Mass.
Okay, yeah, we're from
You're,
basically the
she's
same
from, yeah,
place.
we're from the same place.
Yeah, you're from Massachusetts.
Well, I grew up in Connecticut. Yeah, my grandparents lived in Leicester, so I spent most of my time, being
Gloucester?
Leicester.
Leicester?
L-E-I-C-E-S-T-R.
Is that like? Okay.
Not Gloucester, Leicester.
Got it. Leicester got it.
Leicester, and then Spencer is on the way.
Yeah.
You know.
My cousin, he's in media, he's in broadcasting in Boston. He's actually at he was showing off to me that he's at the game tonight. The NBA season starts. He's
Right.
there with Boston and Cleveland.
Oh,
Yeah, he's in the game. He's in Cleveland watching covering the game.
what you do?
I hope they win. Well, yeah, that's right. You're a Knick fan,
Yeah.
so he's a Knick
You know
fan.
what? NBA is the least of my favorite sports.
Really, the least you
I like March Madness, college.
Right.
And I'll get into the NBA playoff time. Other than that, it's all crap.
Yeah, I like basketball. The playoffs is usually the best part of it, though. It's the most fast paced. The playoffs.
And
are
John
sports.
doesn't give a
John
damn
doesn't
about
care
basketball.
No. John,
Care less about
No,
basketball.
you-
You gotta throw the ball through a hoop.
Yeah.
you'll never. I think John. I guess will never. do a sports movie.
How about beer pong? You into beer pong?
Not in a beer pong, and the only sport I like is professional wrestling.
Wrestling?
Oh, all right.
Wrestling,
You
yeah,
like the
wrestling.
entertainment.
Yeah, wrestling, yeah.
I like the entertainment value of it. I don't even really like I hate UFC.
What about
I'm not into
WWE?
UFC at all. I don't really like I think professional wrestling is like one of the greatest art forms because they're putting on a show. They're
Right.
not, and I'm not just talking about a physical show. They're working the crowd like Conman from like
That's right.
Carney.
Yeah.
That's right.
Conman from the 1920s. They're, the whole point of the show from beginning to end is to make you believe in what they're doing, whether it's
Yeah, a friend of mine's daughter is a new female champ. What's her name? She goes by Tiffany, I think.
Oh, really? She's
Is
that's
that-
pretty hot.
Is
what
that
organization she's
at the WWE Women's Championship?
Oh yeah. I think I have her on
Is it
Instagram.
Naomi
I
or
think she's pretty.
Tiffany or something?
Oh, no, Yomi. Oh, it's Trinity. Yeah, I've
Trinity.
seen
Trinity,
so
Pretty
I've seen
black
her
girl?
brother on the show.
A pretty
She
black
has-
girl,
she used to be
right?
on their reality show. Yeah, she's a really cool
Yeah.
success story. I think.
Yeah.
You know, she's an African American young lady who
He's
started off as
politically
a
correct.
cheerleader.
What are you doing on this show? You're politically correct. She's a black lady. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm not that politically correct. So
Yeah.
And my wife is black, so I can say it. I can easily say, So, she's on. She started off as a cheerleader for the Orlando Magic and became the champ. And we were all really kind of rooting for her, not just mainly because we have African Americans, black people in our family, and we were all rooting for not your average person to win.
Yeah,
Right.
that's cool. That's cool.
And like I said, it is a show, so they can decide whoever they want to be. So it's not like it was just great that someone was given an opportunity to carry the ball.
Okay. So, well, John, thank you for coming on.
All
Because
right.
we're getting ready to wrap up in a minute here.
Thanks for having me.
But yeah, hey, anytime, man. It's I
You-
look forward to
you've
working
got
on
his
your next
number.
project. We have fun out there. That's what I love about the indie film projects versus like I just auditioned for this big corporate project with Harmony, and I appreciate the indie film projects because it's like friends and family. The people that I work with, Gary, my friend Joel, I gotta say rest in peace. He passed away of cancer about 2 weeks ago. Joel Sotola, he died. He was 45 years old.
Yeah.
He died fairly young, and it's like the indie film family. It's like the local guys, like John. They didn't make me jump through those hoops of going on 3 castings and then giving me a role. It's like they gave me a shot and put me out there.
There is a few guys I've actually ran into a lot of people this year alone where they want you to audition like a million times for their really crappy script.
Right? Yeah. But
they're trying to take it seriously on another level. So
Yeah.
and I guess what they don't seem to understand is the guys that do make it in the business aren't the guys that are that much of a taskmaster. They're the people that are family, they're friends and families, and they kind of get there by doing the same stuff at the indie level. By giving people shots whenever they can, and someday they get a shot too. So
it's working hard. I feel like the indie people that have used me, like you and that, saw with my resume that I've worked hard, that I've been out there and done the long days, and I think that's why I give me a shot.
Which was my first film of 2013. You guys know that?
Iron Man 3. I was for about 2 seconds. I enjoyed that movie though, man. That was fun. That was a fun corporate project. But I just I love the indie film market, like I said, because to me it's more like friends and family when we go out there and go on set, and you have that camaraderie, and everybody's trying to make it. Has a dream. We're all dream chasers on there. So
you've got that
that's
core
why,
ensemble.
Yeah.
And there's always 1 or 2 or 3 new people, but you got that core. In my memory, the first time I realized that was Woody Allen. Woody Allen, for a series of, he'd always have the female lead, whoever he was married to or living with.
Right.
But he always had that core ensemble in his movies. And he would do, 2, 3, 4 films with it. Then, of course, there'd be a new lead woman, and he'd have another ensemble cast.
And Scorsese does the same thing,
Yeah.
First with De Niro, and now he's doing it with DiCaprio. He likes to start with Dick.
Yeah, right. Right. Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you for having me,
All right.
and good luck on your show.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for coming on.
All right.
So the indie film market, it just feels like a family when you're out there. So go into the corporate, but in order to make it in the industry, I think as an actor or even a musician, you have to kind of, they say, like, sell out. You have to kind of go on the corporate side and be successful on the corporate side, because that's what that's if you want to get the accolades, you want to get the money, you want to make the real paychecks, you got to go on the corporate
I
side.
interviewed a very successful director. Made some, he's not Scorsese or Lucas or any of that, but very successful. And I interviewed him 2 years, I think it was 2 years ago. He had an indie film that he did. And I asked him, I said, you've had all the success in Hollywood, through the, big studios. What made you want to do this small indie film? And small indie film, it was, I don't know, $1 million.
Right. Yeah, right.
And he said the success he had in Hollywood put him in a position where he was able to do the indie film. He said in Hollywood, it's not about filmmaking. It's business. It's all about
Right.
money.
It's about money. It's about making the money.
Let him come back to do the reason he got into filmmaking, to make a film.
Right, and that's the same with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. The same
Yeah.
thing too, where they've made it big, and then they went and still
Uh-huh.
went and do their
Yeah.
own independent films, because that's where that
Yeah.
brings them the joy.
Yeah.
Because you have a little bit more control. I think Hollywood, you get the big corporate productions. They have more. I think it's more about views. It's more about sponsorship if it's a TV show, about selling ads, and more about if it's a movie that goes to theaters, more about how many people buy tickets to go
Right.
see the movie in theaters.
Right.
So, I think.
Well, you have my interest of being an extra. I don't know
Yeah.
how long
Well,
I'll do
there's
that.
going to be some stuff coming up. So.
For what I did for so many years, I call that
You're right.
pretty damn good at it.
Right.
You weren't in like Showgirls or any of that,
Showgirls,
any of those movies?
Do I look like I was?
No.
No. But with all that, to say, like, I definitely could put on a show.
Yeah.
Whether I was happy being there or not, it was always a smile. I still do that when
So
I
out of
work now.
curiosity,
Yeah.
you did it just because of the money? Do it for?
It was money.
Yeah.
Definitely the big part of the money was easy paying bills and
Yeah.
meeting people. It wasn't about going home with
I'm
guys
sure you met
because
a
I
lot
didn't
of
do
guys.
that. No,
Right.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was very. Yeah, I'm very. I was raised in a Catholic home,
Yeah.
but we weren't fed the Bible or anything.
Right.
But I was raised with manners.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got sucked into it at the a young age, 21. My
Wow.
girlfriend was doing. I was hostessing, and I wasn't making anything. I had a crappy car, and I sucked into it. And next thing I know, I made $800 a night, $1,000. Sometimes I couldn't count it. We were just throwing it around. That's how young we were. We were so
Wow.
stupid. And if I had every dollar to today, I'd probably be a millionaire.
Right.
Yeah, I made a lot of money, and I blew a lot of it. I mean, I just.
Well, I think it's
sad.
because you're young and you're seeing it coming fast. I mean,
Yeah.
Wish I had someone back then to take it
fast,
from me and invest it.
fast. It happens. I think a lot of people. That happens with even Hollywood people, celebrities, athletes big
Yeah.
time. That goes through. They do the same thing.
They spend it.
Yeah.
And if I
They
could do
don't
it all over
realize-
again,
yeah.
I probably wouldn't.
That's like me. What was it, 2003? I was getting people to buy gold, and if I could have went back in time, not only would I have gotten my customers to buy more gold, I would have invested all my income in gold today. But things happen. That's the way it goes.
All right.
Anyway, thank you for tuning in to the Man Show. This was our first episode, and we appreciate your support. I'm Mike Guzman, and this is
Julia Dalton, thank you so much. Have a
Thank
good
you for
night.
tuning in. Take care. That went by quick. And I didn't even know John.
That's funny. You didn't even know who it was. I had to leave really quick. That is funny.
Well, I told a few people to call him. I told my other friend to call him too.
Well, I didn't see the other line ringing.
No? Okay.
No.
I like this song. An hour goes by very fast.
Yeah.
Some of those guys do 4 hours. 5 hours. Olivia Newton-John. I remember her back in her days of her
Reese.
video. No, I remember her back when she was
Oh.
doing her physical.
Let's get physical.
Yeah, the 80s
Physical.
style. Well, the way she dressed back then, if you watch that video, you could. If somebody watched that video today, they could tell it's a very old style.
What's that?
The video that Olivia Newton-John did for the physical,
Oh,
where she had like a one piece, and then I think she had didn't she have like stockings? Yeah, the stockings and that. Nobody wear it. Nobody wears it. What?
Around Footloose, that movie.
It was 80s. It was 80s. Yeah, it was 80s-ish. But yeah, that was fun. It went by quick.
Oh.
But But I was going to talk about something else, but I totally forgot. Man. That was John. That was funny. John called in, who I've worked with.
Julie or Julia?
Julia, Julia, and her last name Dalt. Oh my!
I called you Julie, didn't
It's all right.
I?
It's all right. People know who I am.
And you know what the funny thing was? I thought John was somebody you got to call.
No, and it's funny because I sent the number over to a few people. But,
I thought John. He says John to go to second, and then I was like, wait a minute, John. Oh, John, have you worked some of my films? It's like, oh shit, that was fucking hilarious.